Welcome to the process. It is Wednesday, March 31st, final day. Tomorrow, April Fools. I promise that I won't do any ridiculous April Fool's stuff. I am Josh Engleman. We are here to break down a 10-game NBA slate coming off of just a truly disastrous 4-gamer. Oh, just grossness clear across the board. Thank you very much, PJ Washington, for being a true dumpster fire of a play yesterday. I hope all of you were able to avoid the nonsense that was PJ Washington. I, unfortunately, was not. But good morning to everybody. Happy to have everyone here. As you get in the door, please hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell, so you know when everything goes live. We have a ton of content every single day. I will be on all of that content today. This show, contenders videos, strategy show, and live before lock tonight. We're doing all of it. So if you can, it would help me out. Please hit the like button. We've got a ton to go through. 20 teams, 10 games. And let's just do it, I think. Shout out to everybody that's already in chat. I appreciate having you guys here. I bet Lucas TV. Shout out from the Philippines. What's up? Philippines, far away. Used to have to make some calls to the Philippines for work, previous life. So doing calls at this sort of time was commonplace because it's basically the opposite. Brian, happy to have you. Jeff, Philip, Michael, everybody. Happy to see everybody here. Let's get into this so that we can actually get through this in an hour and a half or so. So you know how we're starting. First, I gotta turn down my audio a little bit. There we go. You guys know how we're starting it. Cheers. Grab your coffees, your beers, your teas, your joints, whatever you got, and cheers. Let's start off this day correctly. God, it's so good. It really is. There's something about that first sip of coffee in the morning. If I were a cigarette smoker, I bet it would be great to have a cigarette right now. That is a long since gone part of my life. It's more college Josh. And even then, it was never really a big thing. But I feel like now would be a really nice time to have a cigarette. All right, here we go. We're diving in. Boston Celtics, first one up, taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Jaylen Brown, Q-tag. Still no Tristan Thompson, no Semi. Q-tag on Romeo Langford, which is not really all that important. Let's see how close Jaylen Brown is. He practice? Well, we're not really going to have any idea, so we have to just assume that Jaylen Brown is playing for right now. Really our only option. Wow, lots of Philippines today. That's kind of fun. All right, so Kemba Walker, 33 minutes. Time Lord, 29 minutes. There you go, Ben. Morning from Mississippi. Happy to have you here, man. Keith, glad you were able to take down 100, man. That's awesome. I took down nothing because of PJ Washington. That man removed me from the ability to have a good lineup. All right, Time Lord with 29 minutes. We'll give Luke Cornett 13. Grant Williams can continue to play like 18 minutes. And then we'll try to be as judicious here as we can. Jason Tatum, 36. Jaylen Brown, 34. Marcus Smart, 34. Is that going to be enough? And it seems like it is. So Peyton Pritchard's minutes down a little bit. I think Oh, we still need to give Fournier minutes too, which I assume is going to be like 28 to 30. Is it just going to be this easy? 9-man rotation? Nah, they can't do that. Who would get the minutes haircut though? Probably Cornette or Grant Williams, I guess. I am going to go with this though for right now because I don't really naturally see anybody that I want to change. The problem is rates are going to just be a disaster. So let's do something like this. And let's see what Boston looks like. So again, Boston against Dallas. Line is Celtics. 1.5 point dogs at home. Wild stuff. Yeah, it's looking like Time Lord and not too much else. I mean, clearly Tatum and Smart, but they got a lot of cooks in the kitchen now. But Robert Williams, 6,300 on FanDuel, 6,700 on DK, I think stands out most from the Celtics. Tatum would be second, and then you get like Smart and Brown, everybody sort of in the same clump. All right, on to Brooklyn. Yeah, Fournier was ultra bad in that first game. Can't imagine that continues the same way that it did, or same way that it did. Michael, what do you think of Drummond tonight? All in due time, man. All in due time. On to Brooklyn Nets. Nets are taking on Houston. This is a monster line. So the total in this game, 230.5. Brooklyn Nets favored by 14.5. No Durant still. No LaMarcus Aldridge still. Landry Shamet questionable. That's important. And it's not all that obvious if he's going to be playing or not. So we're going to assume that he is. So we will start off pretty simply with the two main guys. 36 minutes for James Harden. 34 minutes for Kyrie Irving. We're going to go 16 minutes to DeAndre Jordan. Another 20 to Nick Claxton. No, maybe not. Yeah, 20 to Nick Claxton seems about right. Yeah, Gerald, PJ Washington ruined me last night as well. Not fun. Not fun. We'll get 18 minutes to Blake. We'll give 24 minutes to Jeff Green. I mean, this team is kind of gross right now. Joe Harris can have his 30 minutes. Bruce Brown can have probably 24. Have to assume that Shamet goes back to playing his like sort of normal run. So I'm going to go 20 to Shamet, and that leaves me 18 for Tyler Johnson. No idea. No idea on this team right now. All right, rates all seem fine. What do we got for Brooklyn? So this should look really good. Yeah, by the way, shout out to Monkey Knife Fight. 100% instant deposit match bonus of up to $50 if you use the promo code Awesemo when signing up. You're going to be dealing in player props. It's a little bit different of a fantasy mechanism. Highly recommend you guys check that out. And also, baseball kicking off tomorrow. If you're looking for some MLB DFS content, this is the place to do it. Awesemo.com. Go to awesemo.com/join or click the link that Nightbot just posted in our chat right now. You can get 9 days of Awesemo Plus MLB for $9 using the promo code STARTING9, STARTING, and the number 9. Ooh, Jamal, that's a tough beat. So Harden 11.5 on FanDuel looks solid. I'm expecting a relatively pedestrian day because I just don't know how Houston can keep up with Brooklyn. Kyrie looks okay. I don't really have much interest in getting to anybody else from Brooklyn. I just don't know how you would prioritize anyone. On the DK side, again, it's Harden and Kyrie, but I'm expecting some of the other pay-up options to look better. Yeah, Alex is fantastic at baseball. I believe I saw Steve yesterday, that would be DeColtz, mention that I think he said that baseball was his most profitable sport. I could be wrong, maybe as a whole, but I think that baseball, he does really well in baseball. And then I've seen, obviously Tom and Eddie on the back end have been grinding hard and everything for a while. Sean's on, very different mechanism of playing, always hitting a couple monster days through the MLB season. Tom, it's looking like LaMarcus Aldridge will be in like 2 more games, something along those lines. All right, Bulls against Phoenix. Terrible spot for Chicago. Levine is a little dinged up. I mean, this is about as bad of a matchup as the Bulls can find. Getting Nikola Vucevic and pick and roll coverage on Chris Paul is not exactly an ideal spot for him. So they could struggle here. Levine with the Q tag has been hobbled. Kobe White with the Q tag. Garrett Temple doubtful. I don't think that Zach LaVine is going to play today. Didn't practice. Interesting. All right, LaVine didn't practice. So we know Garrett Temple's not going to be in. We know that much. Kobe White did not participate in practice on Tuesday either. So, Jerry, I don't know how to answer that question. Steve is DeColtz. Shanzan is Shanzan. That is his name. I don't know how to elaborate further than that. Oh, okay. So I really feel like I should be projecting Kobe White and Zach LaVine out for not playing yesterday, but I don't think it's going to matter if I project them in because you're not going to get either one of them. The problem is we're not going to be ready for Ryan Arcidiacono value night or whoever else it ends up being. There might be some value on Chicago once these guys get ruled out, but it's not going to be a ton. So we'll start here with Satoransky. I'm at least going to have to shade these guys' minutes a little bit. So I'm going to give a bump to Satoransky. We'll go Zach LaVine, 33. Vooch probably going to look solid tonight. If Vooch is going to get traded to the Bulls and immediately all of the best players are going to leave the lineup for injuries, he's just going to be snake bit. Where do I get my injury report from? The NBA injury report. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that the Bulls have Daniel Tice now. We'll play Daniel Tice the straight backup minutes. Vooch and Daniel Tice. That's a really interesting offensive combo. All right, next up, power forward. Thad Young gets 25 minutes. Larry Markkinen gets 23 minutes. Patrick Williams is going to get 31 minutes. Not too many other guys to add here, huh? That's everybody at the top. Troy Brown has been getting actual run, so I'm going to give him that same run. And then I'm going to hit... do I give it to Arcidiacono or Javonte Green? I think I'd be better off giving it to Ryan Arcidiacono. I don't think this is going to matter all that much because of how bad a matchup Phoenix is, and I would be correct. So just given the projections that I have in right now, I will be taking a shot at Zach LaVine if he is playing, because 7,200, like, I just have to hope the shots go in. But we're not going to be rostering much coming out of the Bulls unless they lose out on both Levine and Kobe White for tonight. So we'll keep it moving there. All right. 15 minutes in, 81 viewers, 40 likes. Don't be afraid to hit that thumbs up. I do appreciate the 50-50 ratio, but I think that we can do better. On to Dallas. Dallas Mavs obviously taking on Boston. We already hit on Boston once. I have no concept of who is healthy for Dallas right now. And that would be no Redick, no Willie Cauley-Stein, no Tyrell Terry. So everything is basically the same as it has been, which means this should be relatively easy to do. I don't really think that I have to change anything with regards to minutes. Although it does feel like I should give 2 additional minutes to Jalen Brunson. Let's do this. Let's take Trey Burke to 10. And then 14 and 4. All right, 6. Nope, 4, 6. Bang, got it. All right. Rates should all be the same for Dallas. Not a lot of changes. Not a great matchup against Boston either. We've got Luka at 10-5 on FanDuel, 10-7 on DraftKings. Looking pretty similar to Harden, honestly. Kristaps Porzingis, a guy that I get to pretty regularly, 7,900 on DraftKings. That's going to be someone I like quite a bit. I think he's in a really nice spot against Dallas. Against Boston. That's going to be a real matchup problem for them. Pistons. I think the Detroit Pistons might be the team I'm sick of talking the most about. Like, it's really difficult for me to care about this team. And I feel like it's been a revolving door of dudes too. So no DSJ, which we know. No Killian Hayes, obviously, although potentially close. Wayne Ellington is doubtful. Should have traded him. Sekou is questionable, but it barely matters because he doesn't play anyway because he stinks. No Rodney Magruder, which is good to know, I guess. Cantor. Morning, man. Morning. Your coffee cup reminded me to drink coffee right now. Izzy, sorry I missed you. Good morning. Okay, so I guess this Detroit team is going to be like sort of what it's been. They're taking on Portland, so they're probably not going to win. All right, Corey Joseph in his 3 games thus far played 24 minutes a game. I think 26 feels pretty reasonable. We got to get Frank Jackson back in on this rotation, playing about 18 minutes. We've got Saban Lee probably playing a decent chunk of minutes. So let's do this. We're going to go 26, 22. We're going to go 26 to Corey Joseph, 27 to Mason Plumlee, 21 to Isaiah Stewart, 34 to Jeremy Grant. Feels high. So we're going to go 33 to Jeremy Grant. I'm going to take Tyler Cook out of there too. Sadiq Bey can just hold his 32 minutes. So we need to get Frank Jackson minutes. We need to get Hamidou Diallo a lot more minutes. So let's do this. We'll give Frank Jackson 20. We'll give Hamidou Diallo 26. And then 7 additional minutes to Tyler Cook. Oh, I gave way too many minutes to Josh Jackson. Well, did Josh Jackson get a DNP CD? See, this is what I mean. Like, how the hell am I supposed to keep up with the Pistons when they stink so much? Dennis, I saw your tweet before, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a really, really good lineup. All right, so Josh Jackson, DNP CD. So I have to assume that this dude is just going to be out of the rotation. That's the only way that makes sense. So I'm going to give 15 minutes to Tyler Cook. Am I missing anybody, though? I'm not really. So this is a... They went 10-man rotation. So who am I missing? Okay, so Wayne Ellington isn't going to play. So I think Josh Jackson maintains a spot playing minimal minutes. That all makes sense. So now let's take a look at Detroit rates, which obviously is going to be largely meaningless. Yeah, it is. All right, so for the Pistons, they are at home against Portland, 6.5-point dogs. And if we want to take a look at them here, I think there's not much to really want to be interested in. Jeremy Grant is 6,600 on FanDuel. I still think that there's a bit of upside in that number. Sadiq Bey, Mason Plumlee are viable. But really, Jeremy Grant on FanDuel and not much else. That's just not a very good team. They're not a very good DFS team in general. Edgar, man, that's good luck. Good luck. It's a good tournament to get into. On to the Houston Rockets, who we know already are taking on the Brooklyn Nets. John Wall, questionable. Lovely. That should go well if he's not in. House probable, Wood probable, normal injury patterns. So we have to go through a little bit of this. And it looks like Avery Bradley is active and back. So we're going to have to cut all of these minutes and start over. So I'm going to give John Wall 33 minutes. We're going to say that the backup point guard... Ooh, Mason Jones, by the way, is on Philly now. So let's correct that. All right. Backup point guard minutes are just going to go to DJ Augustine. Christian Wood, I'm just going to assume, is going to play 30 minutes. I'm going to give the straight backup minutes to Kelly Olynyk. That's a really interesting combination, too. That's between the Bulls going from whatever they had, a mess of centers, including Wendell Carter Jr., to Vooch plus Daniel Tice. Now we've got a team that was, I'm just going to like make it up a little bit, but like Boogie and nothing for Christian Wood and Kelly Olynyk. Craziness. Izzy, there are a bunch of tutorials either on the website, written articles explaining some of the tools, videos that will explain some of the tools. All that stuff sort of exists on the website. All right, at the 4, we're going to say Daniel House plays 28 minutes. I'm going to say that Jayshawn Tate plays 32 minutes. I am going to say that Kevin Porter Jr. plays 32 minutes with Avery Bradley backing him up. Sterling Brown playing, call it 20, with the final 16 going to Kenyon Martin Jr. I don't hate it. I mean, Houston stinks, but that rotation went together pretty easily. I don't trust it. Am I really going to assume that DJ Wilson just doesn't get in the rotation any longer? Are we going to put DJ Wilson? Yeah, I guess it's going to be Kenyon Martin over DJ Wilson. All of these rates should be fine right now. Bing, bang, boom, straight down the line. So, Houston against Brooklyn. Okay, so 3-man band, basically. Christian Wood for 7,700 on FanDuel and 8,300 on DraftKings is a guy you're going to get to. Kevin Porter Jr. is 5,500 on FanDuel, 6K on DraftKings, like him as well. John Wall, if he plays, 8,200 on FanDuel, 8,100 on DraftKings. All three of those guys look basically super similar to their normal output, and they all look super similar relative to salary. I do feel like I need to pump the brakes a little bit on Christian Wood, but at the same time, I don't think that I can. So I like this spot for Wood, Porter, Wall. If Wall happens to be ruled out, DJ Augustine is going to be incredibly popular. I think that Kevin Porter Jr. would become a little bit more popular. Avery Bradley might even get a look at that point in time. But DJ Augustine would be the clear winner if John Wall gets ruled out. Okay, on to the Indiana Pacers. Let's see what else we got. Andres, glad you were able to get the baseball promo. Look, 9 days for $9. If you don't have any real experience with it, you're not ever going to regret spending $1 a day on it. God, that felt good. All right, let's turn the fan on. Coffee's starting to get me a little warm on the inside. We're waking up. Cantor, I get where you're going there, but he might have to play 30 minutes at like 4K or sub 4K. I don't think it'll matter. They don't have any other legitimate point guard ball handler types. I think that he would just soak it up. I mean, you got to remember, like, think about some of the guys that were playing for Houston now. DJ Augustine, no matter what we want to say about his quality, has been in the league for like 10 plus years. They're going to give him everything. Like, he's just going to be the guy that can stabilize the force. The rest of these guys are all like, half G Leaguers, half like barely able to play type dudes. Yeah, point KPJ is fine, but like, they still need more than that by a lot. All right, on the Pacers, Q tag on McBuckets, Q tag on Lamb. I assume I don't have to make any changes here. This is just going to be the same rotation we just saw. Same rates as well. Indiana, let me guess. I'm going to be over projecting Karis LeVert. I need to look at Karis LeVert's rate since he's been on Indiana. I just need to know the usage rate because I think that might be driving me. So Karis LeVert, since he's been on the Indiana Pacers in 288 minutes, he's got a 22.3% usage rate. That is likely driving my high Karis LeVert projection. He's been at 0.91 fantasy points per minute. Indiana is taking on Miami, so this is a terrible DFS game to begin with. So I don't think I have much to change for Indiana. This should be fine. I knocked LeVert's usage rate down a little bit. That brings everybody else in line. The question then becomes, do I need to make any other changes? Let's do that. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. Yeah, I think 1.17 on Sabonis looks good. So we're not really playing much of Indiana. A matchup against Miami is usually a terrible outlook. Sabonis, Brogdon, Turner, LeVert. Like, you can play any of those guys if they pop up, but I don't get the sense that they will pop up all that frequently. Just a bad DFS matchup. Lakers. Which means we know that we're playing Andre Drummond today. Set to make his debut. Still no LeBron. Still no Anthony Davis. And I'm not going to lie, guys. I wish I turned that fan on 10 minutes ago. That little breeze feels amazing. All right, Lakers with Andre Drummond. This should be a blast. So I don't know how many minutes he's going to play. He is going to start. We know this. But the question then becomes, does he close? And the way that the team is set up now, you would expect him to absolutely close. But then, like, is Montrezl Harrell ready to stab someone? Is Marc Gasol just out of the rotation? You can't play Montrezl Harrell and Andre Drummond together. I mean, they can and they might, but you shouldn't. All right, here we are. We're at the 7:00 mark. We've got 120 viewers and 59 likes. Not gonna lie, that's it's a little lower than I would like. If you guys can, if you're here and you haven't hit the like button yet, can you please do that? That would help me out a ton. Makes me feel better if we can get that one up to north of 100. Raspy Treasures, happy to have you. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to give Andre Drummond 26 minutes. I'm going to give Montrezl Harrell 22 minutes, and I'm going to assume that Marc Gasol is no longer playing any frequent minutes. I'm going to give Dennis Schroeder 34 minutes unless he's been playing like significantly more. By the way, Lakers taking on Milwaukee. This should be fun. Okay. Wow, Gasol was back, played 15, 15, and 20. I think that all three of these guys are going to play. I'm not going to project it for right now, but I think that we're going to see 48 minutes split three ways, and maybe not like cleanly three ways, but it's not going to surprise me if Marc Gasol sees if they play all three centers today. And I think that they might still want to go to like a Markieff Morris at the 5 lineup because he's the only one that like truly brings any legitimate spacing. Yes, evidently Schroeder turned down 4 for 84. We don't know what the non-guarantees are in that deal. Does it affect the team at all? Absolutely not. All right, so 34 for Schroeder. We'll give Caruso 22 minutes. Markieff Morris at the 4 is going to have to provide some spacing, so that's 26 there. We'll get Kyle Kuzma is going to be playing 36 minutes like normal. Look, I don't think it's crazy that Schroeder turned down that deal, but I am surprised that he turned down that deal. If that makes any sense. KCP, since Braun is out, has averaged 28 minutes, so he will get 28 minutes. Wes Matthews will get his typical 20 minutes of run. THT can get his run, which has basically been who the hell knows. I have 4 minutes left over of spillover for Alfonso McKinney. Come on down. Actually, Marc Gasol, come on down. Rates should all be the same. I mean, Drummond feels weird that his rate would be higher, but I guess we have to assume that it would be. So let's just say, he comes in with a 27.5% usage rate. All right, Lakers. Andre Drummond is 5,200 on FanDuel. Okay, well, that's going to be a disaster waiting to happen. Look, here's the deal. Andre Drummond is going to look like an amazing play on FanDuel if you project him for anywhere north of 22 minutes. At 26 minutes, he looks like one of the best plays on the slate, maybe the best value of the slate. So we're going to have to really pump the brakes. Andre Drummond doesn't appear to be a part of the DraftKings player pool, unless I am mistaken. Yeah, no. So Drummond isn't in the DK player pool. He is on FanDuel at a price tag that is broken. Be aware, if he's starting, you should feel that he's playing like a minimum of 18 minutes. If you are a little bit more optimistic that he would also close, which I don't necessarily know how true that is, although in this particular matchup it would make sense to me, then he's going to play 26 minutes. I think that there is a ceiling to play more, but honestly, the minutes for the centers on the Lakers right now, no one can know. So Andre Drummond's ownership should be a large dictating point for you if you think it gets a little way. Jerry, I'm going to be putting a bit more than a few $100s into something, but it's not going to be XRP. Not that I have any downside to it, but I am going to be letting loose into SoRare/Ethereum. I don't think that I'm overhyping Andre Drummond at all. He's like thousands of dollars cheaper than he normally is if he's playing 26 minutes. I don't really care what they look like moving forward. They don't have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They don't have a good rotation. They're in real danger of tumbling down the standings. Memphis Grizzlies against the Utah Jazz. Unless 4 dudes are out here, I cannot imagine we're recommending anything from Memphis. So Grayson Allen, Q tag, still no Jaren Jackson. Justice Winslow is simply out. So for Memphis, should I be assuming that Grayson Allen just doesn't play? Played 7 minutes due to the hip injury. X-rays came back negative. Bane started the second half ahead of him. But maybe 2 days out will just make him feel a little bit better. So Tillman came back into the rotation, which makes me really happy to see because he was playing really, really well. And I don't think deserved to be removed from the rotation. So if I give him those 14 minutes, I have 4 minutes left to distribute. We'll give those 2 to DeAnthony Melton. Honestly, I might give the other 2 to DeAnthony Melton too. Yeah, bang, done. Who moves? Not Slow-Mo. Not Bane. Who the hell could play the 4? I guess it doesn't really matter. Keep an eye on that one though. If Grayson Allen gets ruled out, Desmond Bane is probably going to get like 26 minutes, as would Melton. And I think that we could find a little bit of value pop up from Memphis. Nothing too crazy. But for right now, I'm assuming when I type in this Memphis line, although 230 total here, a bit higher than I was expecting. Yeah, so it's just still Ja Morant for me and nothing else. And I've been getting to a little bit more Ja than I would really like to do as of late. So let's nerf that a little bit. But it's Ja, maybe a little Joval, maybe a little Slow-Mo, 5,200 on DK. But it's just a tough spot against Utah. On to Miami. Another one I'm not really interested in. Okay. So what do we got going for the Heat today? Victor Oladipo has a cold, so he's out. Great start. Kendrick Nunn, Q-Tag, Gabe Vincent, probable. So most of this should just look like it normally does. We've got Dragic back. He played 24 minutes in the return. Another 2 days off, so I can give him 26. Tyler Hero. No, actually, we'll give Gabe Vincent 10. We'll give Tyler Hero 30. We've got Duncan Robinson at 31. I'm fine with that. Ariza, Iggy, both of those look fine. Precious playing a little bit more than I was expecting. Bielitsa got not real run for reasons that I don't understand. Okay, so Tyler Hero's minutes are just up. I'm going to try to capitalize on that to take him to 32 instead. Iguodala, I just need to give more minutes. So let's take 7 more here. I've got Iggy at 16, but I actually want that to be more like 20. And then I don't know why Bielitsa wouldn't be playing a little bit more. But he's not, evidently. I'm still going to give him 8 minutes because I think they're going to want to work him in. I have Ariza probably projected a bit too high. And then Butler at 35 seems fine. So I just need to throw 5 minutes of spillover somewhere. I think I could just give it to Max Strus because I don't really have many other people that I need to change. Rates should all be the same. And if we look at Miami, Jimmy Butler, 9K on FanDuel, 8,800 on DraftKings. That looks pretty good. Bam Adebayo is $1,200 cheaper on DK than he is on FanDuel today. Definitely want to get to a little bit of Bam on DraftKings. And then I think Tyler Hero for 5,400 on DraftKings, looking solid. No real changes there. You can get a little bit on FanDuel, but nothing too crazy. It's a 10 gamer. I mean, SMP, it's going to take a lot more than Hero and Robinson to get James Harden. Okay. Milwaukee Bucks taking on the Lakers. None of the good dudes for the Lakers are there. No PJ Tucker, no Bobby Portis, no Kuruks. Raz, the answer is LeBron James, but get ready to fully ruin this chat with that question. To me, it's LeBron James, and it's not particularly close. And that's not an indictment on Jordan, but to go to that many straight finals across different teams is crazy. To never get hurt, crazy. Well, I think Milwaukee should be like pretty easy to project here. Gambit, don't even do that nonsense. Right, so these Milwaukee minutes are going to have to be fine. I feel like I need to give everybody that additional minute though. I'm going to get Drew Holiday to 35. I'm going to get Chris Middleton to 35. I'm going to get Giannis to 35 or 243. And I'm going to assume that that's where I want to be right now. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so for Milwaukee, as we know, taking on the Lakers. 144 viewers, 83 likes, guys. We're at the 45-minute mark. Please hit that like button and then go to Monkey Knife Fight and use the promo code Awesemo for a $50 instant match deposit bonus. To use that promo code Awesemo. You deposit 50 bones, they will give you 50 bones. All right, Giannis looking a lot better at 10-5 on DK than he does at 11-3 on FanDuel. Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton looking pretty similar on FanDuel. Slight nod to Drew. They look less similar on DK, where Chris Middleton is $1,000 more expensive. Dennis, I'm 36 years old, man. I saw, obviously, like I missed, well, like, you know, I remember watching Jordan as a 6-year-old child, but I mean, he was the formative basketball player for my youth. And by the way, if the Heat years are debatable, I mean, Heat LeBron James might just actually be the best basketball player ever. All right, Minnesota against the Knicks. This should be super gross. This should be super gross for Minnesota. So no D'Angelo Russell, potentially no Josh Okogie. None of it matters. Anthony Edwards, 34 minutes. Jaden McDaniels, hoping I get him right again today because it worked out pretty well the last time. Give him 32 minutes. Juancho will give 12 minutes. Rubio at 28. We're going to go 27 and 21. He didn't watching MJ hold teams to 54 points. That's not how that works. I think we're appropriating credit incorrectly. Not that he wasn't a fantastic defensive player, because he obviously was. Look, here's my thoughts. I'm going to put it to bed pretty quickly because I don't want to go down this rabbit hole. To act like Michael Jordan had no help is crazy. I think Horace Grant and Chris Bosh are pretty good comps. Happy to call a comp to Dwayne Wade / whatever you want to say, you know, for Pippen, whether it's Wade or someone like Kyrie. to act like Jordan had no help is a real crazy statement. Obviously, went out and got Rodman. Nobody speaks to that at all. Fantastic for the Bulls. So from that sort of perspective, they're the same. They've got sort of the same thing. I mean, that team that LeBron dragged to the finals with like Mo Williams and shit is straight actual trash. But to go to 9 straight finals in an era where free agency and contract rules and salary caps make it incredibly difficult to put teams together, you are hamstrung in a way that just simply did not exist in that same way in the 90s. To me, that is the main key. To go to all of those finals in a row, not miss time at all, to be playing through that for basically a full decade. It's truly insane to me to put together that sort of resume. It's, to me, unrivaled in sports. Rodman was not there for Mike's prime years. If we're going to say that LeBron James or that Michael Jordan wasn't in his prime for the second set of 3, I think you're forgetting how old he was. Like, LeBron James did this. Like, Jordan's career is over. LeBron James might still be the best NBA player in the world right now. Minnesota Timberwolves. I can't keep doing this. Yeah, this is a tricky team. It's not to say that I don't think Jordan's incredible. He absolutely is. But we're going to look back at this from a volume. If LeBron James can finish his career the way that he's been going, and they're not even going to be in the same stratosphere. LeBron is going to lap him. The amount of time that he has played basketball more than Michael Jordan is staggering. Brady's an interesting piece there. That's a good comp. I see them as really super similar. Tiger is different because, like, you don't have to worry. You're not putting teams together. It's just you going out there to play. Minnesota, Towns, McDaniels, Beasley, Edwards, all viable on FanDuel. McDaniels got the price bump. It's definitely not Montana. On the DK side, though, $9,800 Towns, that's a really nice price tag, as is $4,300 for Jaden McDaniels. Now, you see, you guys got me off on my tangent. On to the Knicks. They are playing Minnesota. We got too many games for me to be doing. So where was this nonsense LeBron MJ conversation yesterday on the 4-gamer? You can't do this. You guys got to do this nonsense on a 10-gamer. That's not helping me. You guys know I can't control it. Yeah, so I dare you. I agree with you completely on Tiger. I just see it completely different because it's a solo sport. Much like looking at, like Djokovic or Nadal or Fed, like stuff like that. I think it's really hard to cross those team sport, solo sport spots. Because you could look at like Venus Williams too. To me, that's just two separate things. Obviously incredible in their own rights. I'm not trying to diminish their individual accomplishments, but I'm sort of more looking in the team sport realm. New York Knicks. This is a good spot for New York against Minnesota. Real shame about Mitchell Robinson, man. That sucks. I wonder if the Knicks would have been more likely to take a real legitimate run at Andre Drummond if Mitchell Robinson broke his foot before the trade deadline. Oh, Mr. OG, you're so clueless. So clueless. Okay, what are we doing for the Knicks? So we just really have to take Mitch Robinson out, and that's it, which he's already out. There it is. There it is. Yeah, SMP. Let's see how that would have went if if that went a little bit different of a direction. All right, so Nerlens Noel is just going to go back to playing like stupidly high minutes. Taj Gibson at the backup. Right, he didn't have Rodman till 96. He had Horace Grant before that, who is one of the most underrated basketball players in the history of the league. Oh, God. All right, so Derrick Rose, I'm going to go like... See, Jared, I'm such a sucker, man. You guys drag me into this stuff. You guys know how to push my buttons. I appreciate you guys for it. I'm so easy to get riled up. All right, so the Knicks get a decent bump up, but $9,300 Randall or $9,700 Randall are really the only only guy you can happily look at. $4,800 Derrick Rose on DraftKings is unfortunately something that we have to pay attention to. I don't have a ton of interest in Nerlens Noel, but I can see how you would want to get there. Ultimately, I'm just not heavy on the Knicks. OKC. I assume that they just have like a really ridiculous... Yeah. So no Shea, no Dort, no Baisley, no Muscala. Oklahoma City against Toronto is actually going to have some value here. Let's be clear. When Rodman got to the Bulls, nobody was thinking like, oh, Dennis Rodman is cooked. They were like, no, he's really good. He's just crazy. Like, there was no talk of like, oh, Rodman's 30, whatever. That was not happening at the time. Everybody was like, we think he's good, but he might try to play a game in a wedding dress. That was never fun for them. Trust me, I agree. Watching Michael Jordan play in the playoffs was one of the best things that I've ever seen. It was incredibly captivating television. But we cannot act like things were absolutes. Those are not binary outcomes. They worked, but we just can't treat him like he's infinite. I don't know what to do with this Oklahoma City team anymore. They just stink so much. Moses Brown Day, Pogaszewski Day. Like, are we really doing this again? I don't want to. I really don't want to. All right, Maladon, 32 minutes. It seems fine. Tony Bradley at 16, I'm just going to say is fine. Ty Jerome at 24. I guess that can go higher. I'm done. Mr. OG, I'm very happy that you show up in this chat every day. I can't even understand how you get to some of your thought processes on a day-to-day basis, no matter what it is. DFS, actual basketball, politics, I have no idea. I just assume that I'm going to disagree with you immediately. Yeah, Jerry, it's just because Moses Brown wasn't on much of a contract, so you want to like lock him into something else. It's super common. I think everything here for Oklahoma City's rotation is going to be fine. Maybe I need to get like 2 or 3 more minutes to like Roby and... I don't... All right, I'm going to get 29 to Roby. I want to get 32 to Pogaszewski. I'm going to take 2 away from Kenrich Williams. So let's check out OKC. Yeah, I ground this one to a halt, guys. All right, no more LeBron Jordan takes. I can't do it anymore. So for OKC, Moses Brown, 6,700 on FanDuel and 7,100 on DK. I think that we are left with no other choice other than to go directly back. Do I need to give Svi more minutes? Yeah, probably. I'm just going to call Mr. OG the Queen's Gambit from now on. All right. So it's Moses Brown, it's Pogaszewski, it's Isaiah Roby. It's going to be Oklahoma City season again. And unfortunately, that's not going to be a fun time. Phoenix. Now, this is not one I want to look at because I think Phoenix is about to look decent, and I don't normally like playing the Suns. Oh, Phoenix. Okay, so like everybody that should be in is in for the Suns, but they get to take on the Bulls in a great matchup. They still don't look all that great. Paul, Booker, Bridges, if you want to. I actually don't have anything to add for Phoenix. Same rotation as last night. Same uninteresting team. All right, Portland. No Little, no Collins. I think most of this rotation should just look spot on to where we've been. Although maybe I need to give... Oh no, I haven't even projected. I haven't played a slate with Norm Powell on it yet. That's interesting. What happened to make Saric pop? Nothing. He doesn't pop. So, yeah, I don't know. Absolutely nothing happened. All right, 36 there. 12 for Simons. 36 for McCollum. 12 for Norm Powell here. And then 20 here. Oh, Sarge popped yesterday? Got it. I thought you meant for today, like when I looked at Phoenix. Yeah, he's not playable today. All right, Enes Kanter will give... Oh, yeah, Nurk is back. So we'll go 26-22. And then Melo needs to get his 25 minutes, which gives me 33 for Covington, 18 for DJJ. Rates should all be good. They are. So for Portland, Dame and CJ, that's it. Dame 9,100 and 9,500. Happy to go there. Prefer him to CJ at 8,200 on FanDuel. I think that they are basically equal, though, on DraftKings. Portland taking on the Pistons. Really nice spot. Four to go, and we're over 100 likes, so thank you guys very much. On the Sacramento side, we've got Bagley out, obviously. Whiteside Q-tag doesn't matter. They'll just go to Metu if he doesn't play. So this is just going to be the same sort of rotation as it normally is. Although, yeah, this is just the same rotation as normal. On to Sacramento. All right. All y'all that are answering Jordan right now, don't come back. All right. De'Aaron Fox and Halliburton are my two favorites on FanDuel. De'Aaron Fox is 10K. That is something else, but oh well. Halliburton looking good at 5,600. Halliburton a little bit too expensive on DK. $9,300 De'Aaron Fox on DraftKings is going to be one of the better plays on the day today. Keep your eye there. San Antonio Spurs. Nah, don't go there. Okay, perfect. Lonnie Walker is probable. Gorgie Jang, who I forgot went to the Spurs, is also probable. So, Gorgeous Dong, come on down. I think he's going to be really good for San Antonio. Stretch big option. I like it here. That's a really nice buyout pickup for the Spurs. Good bit of business. So I'll say this because I see where you're going with that point, MHP. And this isn't even meant to like rile anybody up. I don't think that when the careers are over, that it's really plausible to say that Michael Jordan had a better career than LeBron James. LeBron James is going to play so much more basketball at a high level that you're truly comparing two separate things. If you want to tell me that Michael Jordan's peak is higher because of the 6 titles in 8 years, I can get behind that. But if you are just judging their careers as a whole, they're not even going to be in the same space. LeBron James is going to play so much more NBA basketball as a top 3 player in the league that we're just comparing two different things. It's not even just the college thing. It's the ultra long playoff series for a decade straight. It's the not taking 18 months off scenario. He's doing it now, you know, at an age where Jordan was on the Wizards and LeBron is winning titles as arguably the best player still in the league. It's going to be really difficult to compare those two things. He's going to get dwarfed by a dramatic amount. God, I hate projecting the Spurs, man. This team is so difficult. So I think Gorgie Jang is just going to play at least a little bit, and I think that he should. Rudy Gay at 22 minutes seems fine. Let's see. DeJounte Murray at 32 minutes. Should that be more? Probably not. Derek White, good at 32 minutes. I think that's fine. DeMar at 34. I think that's fine. Devin Vass, 13 minutes. How do I get more minutes to some of these guys? I truly don't even know. Mr. OG, I don't even know how you come up with some of this nonsense. Let's see. I really don't know how to give Lonnie Walker more minutes. I don't know where they come from. I guess I could take 2 more from Patty Mills. See, projecting the Spurs is just an impossible task. They've got too many bodies. Keldon Johnson, is he getting less minutes? Yeah, I guess. But for the Spurs, taking on that Kings team, so it's a great matchup. DeRozan, White, Murray, I think all look really similar relative to salary across both sites. They're priced pretty similar on FanDuel and DK too, but nobody popping heavily. I mean, nobody's really popping in this slate all that heavily. I haven't seen anybody that has just been, outside of like the Drummond misprice type stuff, this seems like a really difficult slate. Okay. Gambit, you need to take a break, man. You're really just an unenjoyable part of this stream right now. And nobody can even see it because you're just ranting and raving with expletives. So Go cool out for 5 minutes. All right. Toronto. And then I believe that's it. Are we done then? No, Toronto and Utah. So we're basically done. Oh, no Donovan Mitchell? Okay. So Utah's going to look wild. We're going to get into one there. Let's finish off Toronto and let's bring this back around. Chris Boucher back to just not really playing. Aaron Baines gets 12 minutes. We're going to assume Siakam is playing 36 minutes. And Kyle Lowry at 35. Cool. Fred VanVleet at 35. Cool. None of this is all that interesting. Rodney Hood, though, could play at least a little bit more. OG Anunoby 35. Okay, so for Toronto, Kyle Lowry for 6,300 on FanDuel. Like, at some point in time, he's just going to get 30-something minutes, and you're going to be mad that you don't have him. So I think he's going to be quite popular. Mr. OG, you got to stop beating this Harden drum, man. That's not happening. Siakam, VanVleet. I actually like Toronto a little bit here, more so than I thought I would. Because they're taking on Oklahoma City. It's a great matchup, but Oklahoma City only 4-point favorites. And then we get to Utah. This is going to be the most interesting spot on the slate because no Donovan Mitchell is not something you see all that often for Utah and will create like an incredible trickle-down effect. So backup point guard for Utah, I assume is just going to be essentially Joe Ingles. Jordan Clarkson is going to play 30 minutes. Joe Ingles is going to play a ton. Bogdanovich is going to be set for 30 minutes. I don't think much changes for Gobert and Favors. Who's going to get the Mia One is going to be the one that picks up the biggest bump. Not that he's going to be playable. We'll take 16 minutes there. Niang gets to 16. Four spillover minutes to Matt Thomas, who I didn't add to the team yet. Utah. There we go. Guys, we have completed the Utah Jazz. Now we need to grab all new usage rates because we are not used to seeing Donovan Mitchell off the floor. So, Mitchell off. Let's see. All right, Jordan Clarkson with Mitchell off the floor gets to 30% usage, and I think that's a legitimate number. Boyan stays at 21. Joe Ingles goes to 16. Also sees a bit of an assist bump. Does Clarkson see an assist bump? I doubt it, right? No, he doesn't. Mike Conley. This one should be really interesting. Okay, so no real change in his usage rate. Assist rate does go up. Royce O'Neal, no changes. Rudy Gobert. A little bit of changes. Derek Favors can't matter at all. Roy, happy to have you, man. Yeah, I thought there would be a bigger usage bump somewhere. Just doesn't appear to be happening. I thought someone would soak it up, but I guess it's mostly just Clarkson. Anyway, Utah. You waited 5 minutes to run that one back, Gambit. You need to find more happiness in your life. Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson all look really, really good on FanDuel. Really good. All basically equal to each other relative to salary. On DK, Mike Conley for 5,800 might just be my favorite play of the day. Utah is taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. They're sizable favorites. Revenge narrative, all that jazz. Get it? Jazz. I am highly, highly, highly interested in Mike Conley on DraftKings. Not that it's a surprise, but Utah looks great. By the way, guys, we are done. 7:42. Honestly, 10 games. Took me an hour and 15 minutes. We got derailed on Jordan versus LeBron, but we made it to where we needed to be. So let's run some crunches. Hit that like button if you can. 183 viewers, north of 100 likes. So we're where we want to be, but we could always do more. Also, subscribe to the channel if you can. All right, first one up. The FanDuel Optimal. FanDuel Optimal is Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, Tyrese Halliburton, Svi Mykhailiuk, Jimmy Butler, Patrick Williams, Giannis, Julius Randle, and Andre Drummond. Sure. That seems reasonable. I don't even know what... So much of this slate is scary, yucky awfulness. Power rankings on FanDuel. Assuming Andre Drummond plays 26 minutes, which I have no idea if he will. I'm actually regretting going to 26, and we'll probably bring him down to 24. Because that seems too high. Just thinking about the fact that he hasn't played in forever. But either way, Drummond's going to be pretty highly up the list. You know what? Let's run this again. I took 2 minutes off of Drummond. I'm going to re-upload the projections. Let's see how big of a change that actually is. Miles, sorry, not my call. The show will not be on the podcast feed. My apologies. Wow, between Robert Williams, Moses Brown, and Andre Drummond, center is like oddly deep with dudes I don't trust. All right, new optimal lineup if we knock Drummond down to 24 minutes. Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Halliburton, Svi, Jimmy Butler, Patrick Williams, Giannis, Randle, Robert Williams. So that did make an effect. I think the structure of that one looks a little bit better. Now, if we go back in and do power rankings, I think we'll see it look a little bit smoother. Yeah, that is a balance that I was expecting a little bit more. Yeah, I think 24 minutes is fair. I think 26 was a little bit too aggressive. Look, if Andre Drummond can buy in, I think that's a really nice pickup for the Lakers to soak up minutes for the rest of the season and in the playoffs. But when push comes to shove, Andre Drummond is parking his ass on the bench, and Anthony Davis will be the center. Yeah, once again, Mr. OG, you're on the opposite of me. I don't trust I wouldn't say that Stephen A knows anything. Dude's become a caricature of himself. Jimmy Butler, the number one ranked power rankings guy right now. It's possible we see him coming up in the contenders. Robert Williams, Mike Conley, Julius Randle, Tyrese Halliburton. Isaiah Roby, Jordan Clarkson, Kyle Lowry, Giannis, Svi, DeMar, Kevin Porter Jr., Andre Drummond, Fred VanVleet. The problem with saying that Stephen A knows basketball is that you can never take him seriously because 80% of the time he's going crazy for views that you can't ever trust when the 20% is sincere. So you have to throw it all out, unfortunately. I think that you could be right if he wasn't pandering to the audience of the lowest common denominator of people that watch ESPN. It's impossible to separate the right from the wrong. DraftKings Optimal. Butthole, thanks for being here, man. DK Optimal. Let's do it. This I have no idea what DraftKings is going to look like right now. None at all. There you go, Cantor. Now we're talking. Okay, that happened. Saban Lee, Derrick Rose, Pogashevsky, Kyle Kuzma, Robert Williams, Jordan Clarkson, Giannis, Mike Conley. You could have gave me a lot of guesses, and Saban Lee, Derrick Rose, Pogashevsky would not have been the first three names that came out of my mouth. Not good. I don't. Hey, that's an optimal lineup for you. Fair enough. DraftKings Power Rankings. Good God. So this is a testament to what kind of value we have today if like Saban Lee and Hamidou Diallo, Pogashevskys are popping up. Bluegrass Jeff, yes, I am on the strategy show today. All right, power rankings are stabilizing for DK, so it's looking like Mike Conley at the top of the spear, Jordan Clarkson, Derrick Rose, Joe Ingles, Pogashevsky, Giannis, Jaden McDaniels, Saban Lee, Royce O'Neal, Robert Williams, Pascal Siakam, Derek White, Porzingis, Jimmy Butler, all sneaking around in that lower range. Mike Conley season tonight, baby. Memphis revenge narrative and everything. No Donovan Mitchell. That's going to be a fun one. Let's close this one out. Super draft optimal. Mark, I don't go to bed until I know that nobody else is getting knocked out of that 10 o'clock game. So I'm up till 10. I try to take a power nap after the strategy show in order to catch up on the sleep that I miss from waking up to do this show. All right. Super draft, and then we're out of here. Final one. If you guys can hit the like button as you head out, that would be incredibly helpful. Then sign up at awesemo.com for our MLB package. Starting 9 is the promo code. 9 days of MLB for $9. Optimal lineup on Super Draft. No, I don't do hockey projections. I mean, we as awesemo.com do hockey projections. I don't. Mike Conley, Kyrie Irving, De'Aaron Fox, Julius Randle, Giannis, Kyle Kuzma, Rudy Gobert. That is the optimal lineup on Super Draft. And I'm not going to lie, I think that looks great. And then finally, the Super Draft power rankings for today. No surprises to see Giannis at the top. What minutes did I give Ingles? I think 32. Giannis, Fox, Randall, Kuzma, Towns, Conley, Irving, Drew, Porzingis, Doncic, Gobert, Harden, Pogashevsky, rounding out the Super Draft power rankings. Guys, we made it. You guys tried to drag me down into the depths of talking about LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I powered through it as much as I could. Hour, 20 minutes of live show for a 10-game slate. I think we're getting a little bit more efficient here. I'm happy to have everybody. This was fun. I wish that I didn't have PJ Washington yesterday so that I could be at least a little bit happier today. But again, contenders videos are coming out after this. Thank you for being here for this bad boy. Strategy show with Laffy, where we'll be breaking down all 10 games coming up at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then tonight, 6 p.m., live before lock. Myself, Greg Ehrenberg, live before lock. Going to be a doozy. I think we're going to see some news tonight that's not going to be all that fun. We shall see. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much. Like button on your way out the door. Good luck tonight, everybody. Have a good Wednesday. See you guys tomorrow in April.